Hello, welcome to Worship Tutorials.
Hi, friends.
I'm Bradford.
I'm Brian.
That jam was not very Worship Tutorials-ly.
I bet maybe that's the new normal.
The new amp that is included in one of the new amps that's included in the 3.5 Helix firmware update is a Sunn Model T. Between that and the two drive pedals that were introduced as well, it just felt right.
It's firmware release day.
Yeah, that's right.
So you should go download it. Links below where you can go to line 6, download the new 3.50 firmware. I'm going to make a statement. I think this is the most important and most significant update to the Helix since it came out. Now, before we go any further, there's two things that we want to tell you. One, we have free stuff for you based on these new effects. We have what's called the Favorite Effects Patch. So Line 6 has a feature called the Favorites feature.
It came out a few updates ago.
It's sort of like a preset for an individual effect. Mm-hmm. And so we have a download that is, I don't even know the number, but it's a lot because we keep adding to it.
I still don't know why we do this.
We've taken almost all the new effect types and just like saved our favorite settings. And you can download that for free and throw them in any of your patches if you'd like. So there's that. We have the Sunn preset that we've built around the new Sunn Model T amp model. It is a fully featured preset. It uses the new stock cabs, and we think they sound great. So all of that is linked below. You can grab the preset, you can grab the favorites pack, and get started with the new firmware. We're going to just run over the list of improvements that they've made or new features that they've added. And then we're going to spend some time going through all of our favorite stuff. We're not going to cover literally everything, but almost everything. There are chapter markers below here on YouTube, so you can jump to
This is new on YouTube.
see what you want.
That's not new, but this is a thing now.
It wasn't always in YouTube. Yes. Okay, so first on the list, all new cab engine. It's not just updates to the existing cabs. It is brand new. They've completely updated how impulse responses work. Now you can have a stereo impulse response block, so you can run 2 in stereo. But most importantly,
this is huge.
Single impulse, each impulse response takes up way less DSP without any sacrifice to tone. So the 1024, the lower quality impulse response, takes up about 60-ish, 65, 66% less DSP. And the 2048 impulse response option, the higher quality one, takes up to 80% less DSP. So in practical terms,
because that makes no sense.
What this means, it does to me because I'm a math science nerd.
This is the good part right here.
What this means is you can have a stereo IR block, which is 2 impulse responses in stereo,
which we do often,
which almost always now,
especially now,
yeah, and it takes up less DSP than a single IR block did previous to this firmware. That means you can put a lot more stuff in your patches, practically speaking. This is why I say this is the most significant update, because Bradford and I say often how people, I think, underestimate how much of a
they're misunderstood.
Yeah, how much of an impact on the overall tone the cabinets have. And this update, they sound really, really good.
Yeah. We got 2 new amps. There's a Sunn Model T
That's a cool amp.
All 3 channels is what it is. And then the PD Invective, which is a Misha Mansour, he's from Periphery, signature amp.
It's very high gain.
Yeah, so the Sunn Model T, we decided to like make every firmware update we do a video for, we like make a patch.
Yeah.
So we got a handful of different effects too. 2 Earthquaker pedals. We get 3 different like block types basically, but we get 2 pedals. It's the Earthquaker Life and the Plumes. The Life is like an overdrive fuzz distortion thing with like octave stuff in it, and it has a really cool boost.
It's a great sounding boost.
The boost is like, it's real. A lot of boosts just kind of give you a lot more low end. This one actually kind of like pushes the high end differently. So it's nice. It's a different texture. I probably would never purchase the Earthquaker Life pedal just to use the boost. But in the Helix, it's a very nice boost to have like on hand. And then there's also the Plumes. It's like
finally another 808.
Yeah. If you are especially a fan of Tube Screamers, but you feel like they just take too much low end off, you are in luck.
This has got some beef.
Yeah, the Plumes has some beef
and some gain. Yes.
Yeah, a lot. We
a higher gain kind of.
I would rather run the gain way further back. I still think it sounds great. We ran it more as like your middle gain, but it's way thicker and chewier than a Tube Screamer because of that extra low end. So we use that. That's really cool. And then we get a cool 4-voice chorus. Now, we always joke around here that, like, chorus equals the 80s, but, like, if anything
this one really does.
Anything really equals the 80s, it's like your tri and quad head choruses.
Yes, it's a lot.
So we put that in the patch, and they have, like, a vibe of sorts.
A new vibe. It's really cool.
Yeah.
So there's an octave effect in here as well. It's a Boss Octaver. They call it the Boctaver. It gives you 1 octave down or 2 octaves down.
So it's OC2.
Yeah, the OC2 is what it is. Okay. And it's really cool for like single note riffs, lead lines. It helps you get heavier because it's octave down. There's a new reverb included called Dynamic Ambience. Now, the word ambience...
Don't get too excited.
It's not an big ambient reverb. It's meant to it's meant to emulate like the effect of being in a space.
Yeah.
So it's a really short, sort of reflective type of a reverb. We're not going to talk a lot about it in this video, actually, because we didn't really spend a lot of time with it. So that's all the new stuff. There's some other things that are more utility type of effects, like you can have more control over parameters with snapshots, that kind of thing. You can read the release notes that Line 6 put out to sort of get everything that they've done. But let's jump into this patch so we can play these things that we've been talking about. So first, it's a new amp. We've run it through here. You can see, we mentioned this earlier. We've run it through a new updated, not even updated, just new cab. A Marshall 1960A, which is a 412 cabinet with T75 speakers. You can see here we've got a 121 ribbon and a 421 dynamic on it. We'll talk about the cabs a little more later, but these sound really great. They have a completely new interface and controls and everything.
You can see that more like in HX Edit.
Yeah, we'll maybe put a screen capture up when we get there to show you what we're talking about. But this is what this amp sounds like. So right out of the gate, when we saw Sunn Model T and we looked up this amp and saw what it was used for, we did not expect something that was sort of that vintagey and low. We expected it to be bigger, higher gain.
I had heard of Sunn amps, but I couldn't like tell you what they sounded like. And in my head, it was more sludgy.
Yes.
And it gets there.
Yeah.
But we also try to, like, we're making this patch so, like, it can kind of represent the amp pretty well. But at the same time, we just know that most people who watch our channel probably don't want that. So we kind of, like, met in the middle.
That's right.
We met in the middle.
We did a magic guitar switch there. We're using the jumped channel version of the amp. So you can get the normal, the bright, or the jumped. And we would jump because you can get characteristics of both channels.
We like jump channels of amps.
Yeah, so that's the amp. Let's listen to the Plumes. So Bradford's going to play, and we're going to hit the Plumes. And there you can see our settings. It's called the Pillars. We call it Plumes.
Here we go. Clean tone. Bass tone.
So I was kind of going through some controls there. You can see there's a lot of gain on tap. You turn the gain to 0 and the volume at 10. It does a cool thing. All right, that's the Plumes. Shall we hear the life?
Yes.
This is like fuzz. Here we go.
It's fun.
Yeah. We've got the new vibe and the new chorus up here. So we'll start with like a clean, here, let's get like an ambient clean tone, and we'll turn the chorus on. So as you can see, you've got a lot of controls over. You've actually got some EQ type of controls with the high shelf. If you turn the depth all the way up, it gets more vibrato-y to us. If that's something you're looking for. But it's just the Helix has great like modulation chorus type of effects.
Oh yeah.
All right, you want some gain with some vibe? Turn the vibe on first, then we'll turn on the So there you go. A lot of control there too over the vibe. It gives you a lot of options. Warp, spread. We're in stereo here, by the way.
We have it after the amp actually.
That's right. Yeah, and a lot of times
where our stereo chain starts.
Yeah, you might put it before your drives, that kind of thing, but we like the way it sounded here after the amp. All right, we have the Boctaver in this. We call it octave down. We're just doing one octave down. Our dry level is at 10, so it's like we're hearing the dry and the octave down. How do you want to demo this one, Bradford? Do you want to do some riff with some gain, like Plumes?
Yeah, we'll do both.
Or life?
We'll do. Let's do Plumes for now.
Okay, here we go. Plumes. Then I'm going to turn this on. demonstrate why you might not want to play chords with this effect?
It's just like a wall of mush underneath it.
I'll turn them both on, and you play one note, and then play more than one note. Okay, so there you go.
But that's true to form, so...
Yeah.
If you don't want that, there's other octave stuff you may use.
Yeah, like
that takes way more DSP.
Or dual pitch is a great one, too, that we've been using since Helix came out. All right, so that is sort of all the new stuff that we've included. Of course, you get all the other stuff that we typically include, like big reverb. There's tremolo in here. There's not enough buttons. You might notice we have all of these presets.
Because there's more room now.
Snapshots. Yeah, so we're back to the clean snap here. Let's just kind of go through these snapshots so you can get an idea of how this is all laid out. There you have it. That's all the stuff that you get in the Sunn WT patch. We have two versions of it. One dialed in for single coil guitars, like the Telecaster. There's another one dialed in for humbucker guitars, which you heard in the opening song that we did with the 594. Last thing before we move on to a new patch to show off the new stock cabs. Let's talk about this dual IR block. This one single impulse response block is housing two IRs, which are the tone match IRs we built for this patch. So row 1 is all the controls for the first IR, and we see we've got it panned left. Row 2, all the controls for the second IR, it's panned right. Row 3 gives us a nice little Easter egg that we didn't see coming. It is this delay option.
I love it.
So what this does is it offsets one of the IRs by whatever millisecond you set.
Fractions of a second.
So in practical terms, it basically makes everything sound like this is your stereo image. It makes it go whoosh, like that.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Talk about stock cabs.
Let us let you hear them.
So we have our free AC30 patch that we pulled in, and we replaced the impulse response with a stock cab, and here it is. You can see that it is the Bluebell stock cabinet. Now in HX Edit, you get a much better, more interesting interface where you've got the speaker.
It's more interactive.
Yeah, there's the mic. You can change it. You can angle it. You can move it around back and forth and all this stuff. You can do all the same things here, but it looks cooler in HX Edit. What we have here is a 57 dynamic, which is pretty standard. The position is how far it is from the center of here's the center of the cone of the speaker.
Yeah, a little like
how far it is.
Circle in the
right, and so like around 2.5, you see this cap edge. So it's right on the edge of the cap, wherever it was. It's in there. It pops up. There we go. I like to run them a little further out. Distance, how far away it is, Angle
from the speaker.
Yeah, how far away from the speaker. Angle is it right on or is it angled 45 degrees, right? Those are the two options. Then you've got low cut and high cut and level.
So practical, like as to why you would want to do this.
Yeah.
The closer you are to the dead center of the speaker, like the brighter and more brittle and more thin it's going to be. And for some amps, take a Plexi for example, that may be what you need to do.
Yeah.
But for other amps, you may want to back it off to make it not as dark. And so it's a really crazy world to dive into when you think about the fact that the way to adjust how an amp sounds is way more than just the EQ on the amp. The speakers,
it's true,
the
though.
cab, the microphone placement.
So Bradford's going to play. I'm going to cycle through the mic options and everything else is going to stay the same.
Yeah, okay.
You can hear that these different mics have very different sounds.
Yeah.
And where they're placed, very different sounds. How far away they are, very different. What angle they are, very different. This can be option overload for people.
It can be.
Or paralysis.
Yeah.
We own a handful of these mics, and to us, they sound like the mics.
They represent them pretty well, yeah.
Yeah, and what happens when you move them around is what happens when you move them around. We have a lot of experience miking cabs, so this is like home base to us.
Yeah.
So you can get a lot of options here.
More so on the editor too.
Yeah, all the options are here, but the editor just makes it easier to manage.
To visualize. Yeah.
Okay, so that might be a lot. This is what I would do if I were you building a patch. Let's do this.
First off, I would just download one of ours.
Yeah, you can get this. Well, this doesn't come with stock cabs, but you can download it and put these stock cabs in. All right, so let's go to a dual.
But if not,
cabinet block.
Be helpful in
the
showcase.
So we're gonna go with the Bluebell. That is an AC30 with Celestion blues in it, and now there are. Think of it as one speaker with two different microphones on it, or two speakers with mic on each one.
Because you can have different speakers.
Yeah. So the first thing I would do is, by the way, there's a nice selection of ribbons, dynamic, and condenser microphones, and it's nice to pair a ribbon with either a dynamic or a condenser. So that's the first step. I would take a 121, Royer 121. It's awesome.
Classic.
I like the position around 5. That's not on the edge of the speaker, not on the cap, kind of in the middle. It's it rolls some of that high, harsh stuff out, but still retains the clarity. Distance right up, angle, 0 right on. Low cut, I like to start at around 50-ish, 30-ish. High cut, I like to bring it down to about, 8,000. You can pan them around. So ribbon mic on the right, condenser we'll get to on the left. So we'll pan it to the left. Sorry, ribbon on the left this time. And we've noticed when you pan them, you need to turn the level up to about maybe +3-ish. Okay?
Which makes sense also, because when we sit here, we listen to our mics pan, you put them together, the signal just doubles almost.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Yeah, so let's move on. The next mic, we're going to choose I like this 414 condenser. It's
I like how you're doing this without even hearing things.
Yeah, I know what I like. All right, same kind of distance, around 5-ish, or position, distance right on, angle right on. Low cut around 40, sure. High cut around 8,000, somewhere in there. We're gonna pan this one to the right. We're gonna turn it up +3. Bradford's gonna play, and we'll see how this sounds that we dialed in without listening to it. Here we go. Sounds pretty good. You got a
nice.
mix of the warmth and the bright from the condenser. So the delay thing that exists with that dual IR block exists here in the stock cab block as well. So the stock cab update is a big, huge deal in my opinion. And you can see the list. Line 6 has published the list of cabs that they've given the new cab engine to. I would assume more are going to come.
Yeah.
Because it's not the full list that they had previously.
No.
We need that matchless 212 DC30
I
cab.
really want to hear
Come on, Line
that
6.
like new updated one. Yes.
Yeah, and this is great too. I mean,
It is.
This is a big improvement to it makes just everything sound good.
Yeah.
The question inevitably is going to be
Specifically from our users.
Yeah. So, do we need IRs now? Yeah. How do these compare?
Look.
Bradford's gonna. I'll look at what.
Look.
Okay.
Look. Do you need our IRs and our tone match?
No. You don't need it.
Some people actually say they favor the stock cabs.
That's right.
Yes. Okay. We still like the IRs and the tone match. The tone match is more about getting an amp.
The tone match thing is a different deal.
It's different.
Yeah.
It's different.
I will say this. I think that the stock cabs sound as good as most of the IRs that I've tried.
Yeah,
including the ones that
different.
we've made.
Yeah.
They're different. Now, the thing about the IRs we make is you get the microphones that we have. Mm-hmm. There's no Earthworks SR25 in here. That is a great mic. Now,
that and the 121 is our combo.
Yeah, and we run it through a stereo Neve 1073, and we EQ that to get the sound we want. So you basically get our signature sound in those IRs. Same if you get them from Ownhammer. If you get them, there's York Audio, Live Radio Sound. There's so many great impulse response makers out there. You get their signature, right? And you get their flavor. Hislop. All that stuff.
Tone Junkie. Yep.
Tone Junkie. You get their sound. So if you really like their sound, that's how you get it, right? Yep. It used to be, we would say, it's the weakest point in the tone recipe, and you need to use IRs to get like better tone. I don't think you need to anymore. No. You can get it with the stock cabs, but the IRs will let you have a very specific sound that you might really like. We really like.
And you can't, with an IR, it's like a moment in time. It's like where those mics are and the settings that we captured them at are. That's it. You can't really do much adjusting. This allows you to adjust positioning and everything we talked about.
You can make things sound
You can't do that. And IR is basic. You have a low cut and a high cut. That may be all you need.
Line 6, thank you so much. Hey, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you made it to the end of this video, it's kind of a long one. If you've made it this far, we named that opening song the Staring at the Sun. So if you got to this point, comment. Please release Staring at the Sun on Spotify.
Come to Brazil.
Yes.
Taking us on the road.
Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye.